Imagine not being able to read the paper because your hands were shaking. Imagine not being able to read newsprint as your world faded to black. The National Federation of the Blind, Newsline, Indiana. With your host, Lee Martin, and co-host, Florence Myers McSwine.
Welcome to this week's National Federation of the Blind, Newsline, Indiana. I am your co-host, Florence Myers McSwine, here with your host, Mr. Lee Martin, and we have a special guest today with us, Mr. Dennis Manning. And Dennis, welcome to our show today.
It's great to be here. I'm looking forward to this talking on the show.
Okay. Well, we're glad to have you here, Dennis. And as you know, this is a show put on by the National Federation of the Blind. One of our services is the NFB Newsline. And Dennis, you are just become a new subscriber to the NFB Newsline service, and you're still waiting on your credentials, right?
Correct.
So what is it that excites you about being able to access the printed press once again?
Well, I'm really excited about the Newsline. I'm looking forward to looking up some business information possibly, and I want to know more about computers, so possibly something with computer knowledge and computer information. I'm really looking forward to getting to hear the Newsline.
Well, I tell you what, with that mentioning of that, one of the publications, and I'm sure Florence knows of many others as well, but one of them is called Access World, which I really just started getting into. I learned that from another subscriber that was telling me about that particular service with the NFB Newsline, that particular publication. And Florence, what other publications are up there that you would like?
Well, Lee, as you know, I always seem to start with AARP because that is a great tool to have, great magazine. There's magazines for, like he mentioned about computers. There's Technology Magazine, PC Magazine. There's, let's see, there's also magazines on health and fitness. There's magazines for children. There's magazines for people who basically just like to stay in shape. So Lee, there's a magazine for everyone.
Yeah, it most certainly is. And I'm sure that Dennis, once you get involved with this and receive your credentials, there's another publication that I'm certain that you're going to enjoy go right along with your profession, and that's Vending Times. So there's a lot of good information in there as well. So just stay tuned and listen to our commercials, and we will be right back with our guest, Dennis Manning from Lafayette, Indiana. Stay tuned.
I'm Danny Wayne Beamer, Program Manager of the Elder Blind Program at the Will Center in Terre Haute, Indiana. I introduce the NFB Newsline to seniors in 13 southwestern counties in Indiana. I also utilize the NFB Newsline for my radio station public affairs shows. The NFB Newsline. Experience it today.
Learn more by calling 855-963-6476 or visit nfbnewsline-in.org.
We are the nation's blind, and we read NFB Newsline.
Welcome to this segment of the National Federation of the Blind, Newsline, Indiana. And we're talking with our guest today, Mr. Dennis Manning from Lafayette, Indiana. And Dennis, again, we'd like to welcome you to our show. And tell us a little bit about you, Mr. Manning.
Well, I was born in Fort Wayne, Indiana. I have Leber's disease, which is a Um, it's a disease that is transferred from my sisters in my family. It's called Leber's, and it's actually my optic nerve didn't develop, and that causes my eyes to not be able to see. Actually, my eyes are okay; they're great. It's just the nerve that leads to my eyes that I have a problem with.
Okay, and what age were you diagnosed with this condition, Dennis?
Actually, it was really young. I was, I think, 3 to 5. I think my mother always took me to a doctor in Fort Wayne, and they found out that I had was legally blind, actually, and that's when I found that out.
Okay,
Okay,
so, so
go
a
ahead.
young age.
Yes, yes, very young, and I was born with it.
Okay, so you mentioned it's like a hereditary disease. How many of your siblings are coping with this Leber's?
Actually, is I think no, none of my siblings have Leber's. Actually, it's their kids. My oldest sister has a son who's legally blind. He actually lost his sight at 16, and his name is Cameron. Um, my other nephew, his name is Mark, and he also lost his eyesight when he was 16. It was actually a shock to the family because they didn't know what it was. He was bumping into walls and everything, and they actually found out that he had Leber's disease, and he actually lost his eyesight then. Um, he went to the blind school, and some of you out there might know who he is. His name is Mark Manning. He lives in Austin, Texas now. And my other nephew has the same problem, and he's a pastor in New Orleans. So his name is Greg Manning. So basically, 3 of my nephews have the same problem.
Okay, and so this Libra then, it sounds is pretty dominant in your family.
Yes, yes. I think my other sisters, I think it's 2 of my sisters, their kids have it. My other sister, I guess she was lucky, and none of her kids have Leber's. So yeah.
Now,
It's,
with your being diagnosed at such an early age, did you also attend the blind school for the blind and visually impaired?
No, unfortunately not. Actually, I went to a private Lutheran grade school, and actually, after I went there, I kind of regretted not going to the blind school because I don't think I was taught as good as if I would have been if I went to the blind school. So they had large print books for me. Actually, in first grade, I crawled on the ground to be able to see my ABCs and all the information there. My teachers were like really amazed. I think there was an instance when the whole school saw like a movie, and it was a pretty big theater, and I sat in the front of the whole theater by myself, and it was kind of different and scary actually because I was the only one up there, and I that was one of the instances that happened. And yeah, I went to a private Lutheran grade school, and I went to a private Lutheran high school.
So you're talking a little bit about your journey here as a child. So what were some of your aspirations? What did you want to be when you were a child? What career did you kind of aspire to?
Actually, to be funny, when I was young, I always wanted to be a bus driver. Isn't that weird? I I don't think I tell too many people this, but I went around driving records and stuff. I mean, it was, I don't know, it was kind of a dream that I had to be a bus driver. And they would always joke with me in grade school about driving a bus, and I could have a magnifying um, glass to be able to see. But yeah, that was one of my early goals that I wanted to be. So I don't know. That's one of my early goals. I don't think I had any other goals when I was young to be anything actually. So
Okay. Now you mentioned family members. Now in your household, how many siblings did you have, Dennis?
I have 3 brothers and 3 sisters. So, and I'm the youngest of the people in my family.
Okay.
You know, did they treat you any differently because of Libras?
Nope, not at all. I mean, I actually, they treated me like someone who didn't have an eye problem at all. So I was just a normal kid. I had no problems. I mean, I'm sure I had problems, but they didn't treat me any different. So
Hmm. Yeah, I was just listening to you talk about the lens magnifiers that you would use to pretend as a bus driver. I think you were a little bit ahead of your time because there's devices out there now that help individuals do just that.
yes, yes.
Yes, they have those. They have bioptic glasses. Have you heard of those?
Yeah. I think somebody from Lafayette has that, and she's actually driving. So I guess in the future also they have the cars that's going to drive themselves. So
Yes, sir.
that's going to be exciting. So
That's going to be real exciting.
yes,
I can't wait. I
yeah,
hope I'm around when that really becomes just normal to our mainstream society. Because I tell you, that's going to be such a great advancement and give us all opportunities. Because one of our major problems is transportation as blind and vision impaired citizens.
that's
So,
definitely true.
you know, so maybe you might be driving that bus one day, huh?
Yeah, that dream might finally come true.
Now, Dennis, now what would you say is your biggest challenge being a blind individual?
I guess I don't see myself having challenges. I probably should see myself as someone who's blind more, but I don't look at challenges too much, I guess. I don't I don't see in my mind that I have challenges. I don't know. I never had any roadblocks in my head, and I guess I don't look at myself as having too many challenges.
Okay, all right. Well, thank you for that answer. I was curious about that because this portion of the show, sometimes we look at it as from trials to triumphs. And while we all have some challenges in our life, we all have something going on. Um, However, we don't focus so much on those challenges. We focus more so on the triumphs. So I understand exactly what you're saying there.
Mhm. Okay.
And
Yeah.
with that note, we're going to take a short break and we're going to come back and talk more with Dennis as some of his accomplishments. And I'm sure that we will be inspired by Dennis Manning. So we'll be right back. Stay tuned.
If you or someone you know is visually impaired or print challenged, the National Federation of the Blind has a resource you need.
I use NFB Newsline when reading Hammond Northwest Times.
Using NFB Newsline, I read the Christian Science magazine.
Dad, you read Jerusalem Post too.
Learn more by calling 855-963-6476 or visit nfbnewsline-in.org.
Live the life you want. Read NFB Newsline.
It's free.
I am a blind vendor, and one of the things that I truly miss is reading Vending Times magazine.
Hoosiers can hear Indiana magazines, circulars, national magazines, and information from across the globe. Learn more by calling 855-963-6476 or visit nfbnewsline-in.org.
It is a fantastic service.
Subscribe free to NFB Newsline today.
Well, welcome back to this segment of the National Federation of the Blind. And we are continuing our conversation with Dennis from Lafayette.
Yes,
And Lee?
Dennis. Man, we just want to thank you for coming on once again. You know, and you're dealing with this Libras and overcoming it as a child and all your aspirations as a young man and from a child to a young man to a man. So you're in a profession right now with the Business Enterprise Program. What inspired you to get into that program?
Well, actually, I went to college. I went to Vincennes University for 2 years to get a bachelor's degree.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always wanted to be successful. After that, I went to Indiana, Purdue, Fort Wayne, and I got a bachelor's degree there. And so then I went and actually I worked a while, worked at a restaurant, and I was a busboy. And I was still looking for a professional job, and I looked for a long time. I was going to school, and I was going to school with this lady, and she was very nice. And she was my friend. We worked together, and it's kind of weird that I needed a job. So I think if anybody remembers Builder Square, I walked in, applied for a position at Builder Square, and I really didn't know if I was going to get it or not. I didn't have any experience. And I came out, walked out, and her name was the lady who went to school with me. Her name was Lola. And she said her husband worked there. So it was kind of like a connection, and it was like a start. So I was able to start working at that at Builder Square for at least 8 years. And it was a lot of challenges. Actually, I had to do a lot of things that I didn't think I could do. I had to stock lumber, help people get their products. I learned about doors and all kinds of lumber materials and building materials. And after that, I still wanted to have something more professional. So I went to Volk Rehab, and they told me about the vendors program, the Randolph Shepherd vending program, and I was very excited about that. I waited. Actually, I signed up for it. I waited like 3 years to be in my class. Okay, so I waited 3 years, and then I was able to start the class. Actually, you had to move to Indianapolis first to get in the class, and the class was 8 months, and we had a small class with a lot of vendors who were still in the program. So I passed the program, and I finally, actually, a bid came by for Lafayette, and I was really scared to actually pick the place because I was scared. I was like, Lafayette, I don't know anything about Lafayette. So then actually the bid came back to me again, and I said, I better finally pick something. So I actually picked a place in Lafayette. So I, moved, which was really scary. I moved into an apartment. I mean, we had to research it. It took a while, and we went to Lafayette, and I met a vendor. She helped me out, and I actually moved to Lafayette. And it was kind of a scary ordeal. I didn't have a van, and you needed a van to do this. So I bought a van from a local vendor, and I actually have the Wolcott North rest area I started out at. And actually I really enjoyed it. I've been doing that rest area for at least 20 years right now. I started out with that, and then actually went on to getting the courthouse, the city county building, the post office, and then I got a couple other places. I got a car wash, and I actually have a small vending machine at a Harley store. So I did this actually 2 years ago, or I think it's 1 year ago. I started a coffee shop at the Veterans Hospital, and actually it lasted a year. It wasn't successful, but it was it was a exciting venture. I mean, I was able to learn how to make all kinds of cappuccinos and all kinds of coffee, different coffees and stuff, iced coffee and tea. But it was an experience that didn't work out, but it was a neat experience. I was with the Chamber of Commerce at that time, and I was able to, give a little speech, and a couple senators talked at my party. It was a fun deal. So, and also I have a concession stand at Prophetstown State Park. I've been doing that for 5 years. So I've learned about restaurant management a little bit. So
there is so much. I'm just listening to you as a progressive, and several other questions I really want to ask you. But let's see. One of the questions is getting through the vocational rehabilitation. The time that it took you to get accepted was back in that days, 20 years ago. I imagine it was quicker than it is now for citizens that are applying for vocational rehabilitation services, and some of the guidelines have changed. So have you noticed any major changes in vocational rehab where it maybe have become better for people that are coping with vision problems, or do you think it's gotten to the point to where it's not as good as it was?
I think now it's a little bit better. I think they help you a little bit more with equipment you need, and I think I can't say that the class is a shorter wait to get in the class than I have, but I think Voc Rehab is helping the vendors out a little bit when they're starting out.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Dennis.
Go ahead, Florence.
No, I was saying that I heard you speak first about being fearful, moving from one direction to another, not knowing what was going to happen. I also heard you say that you were looking for a more professional position, and it sounds like you found your niche. I hear the passion that you have concerning the vending program, and sounds like it just works out perfect for you.
Yes.
And what would you tell other people that are interested in becoming a vendor?
Actually, I love my job. I love vending. It's a lot of responsibility. I mean, you're like a manager that you are able to hire individuals. You're able to order product. You're able to go out and experience stocking vending machines. You're able to learn how to do different things. I mean, when I first started the concession stand, I was very scared. I've learned a lot about doing concessions now. I mean, there's lots of things you learn working with people, being able to train them, working with food equipment, learning how to sanitize food equipment, just learning how to be able to maintain a restaurant or a concession stand. So I think the vending program is very exciting. I could say every day that I love going to my job. I mean, I'm sure there's challenges every day. You have to be a manager, and you have to tell people things that they don't like. You also have to watch your budget, make sure that you have enough money for things. You have to save up for things. But my job, I love. I mean, I'm very thankful for the Randolph Sheppard vending program. I'm just happy that I picked this direction in my life to go.
Well, I'll tell you what, Dennis, I'm glad to hear that you've had a lot of success with this, and I know there's other challenges, particularly with the high-tech age that we live in nowadays. I know technologies have changed in the vending program, and there's a magazine that you are reading a lot about. It's called Vending Times, and I know that magazine will be very useful to you in your profession. I know we're getting short on time, but I really want to find out real quickly from you, how has this with COVID-19 impacted your business?
Actually, it's slowed things down a little bit. My concession stand at Prophetstown State Park was closed this summer. I mean, I didn't think that would happen, but it did. And actually, people are traveling a little less than normal. So the highway vending side is down a little bit, but I'm maintaining. I'm surviving through this COVID, and we're gonna make it.
And
So,
I'm certain that you will. And also another question that I was, the challenges of the Randall Shepard Act th- uh, is really in Congress' hands right now. There's some challenges being proposed, and I'm sure that you guys will overcome those challenges. So we're going to take a short pause, and we're going to come right back with the conclusion of our program with Dennis Manning and co-host Florence McSwine.
If you or someone you know is visually impaired or print challenged, the National Federation of the Blind has a resource you need.
Wow, I scored a touchdown when I found sports on NFB Newsline.
I enjoy reading TV guide listings on NFB Newsline.
Learn more by calling 855-963-6476 or visit nfbnewsline-in.org.
We are the nation's blind. We read NFB Newsline.
It's free.
We most certainly want to thank you all for joining us today. And Dennis, we want to thank you for all that you shared with us today.
yeah, I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to be here and talking to everybody.
Well, I'm looking forward to being more colleagues with you in the National Federation of the Blind, as you have just become the president of the Lafayette chapter. So we'll be working a lot together, and I'm looking forward to it.
Now, and I'd like to leave you all with a quote from Edward Hale. It says, "I am just one, but I am one. I cannot do everything, but I can do something. I will not let what I cannot do deter me from what I can." So on that note, thank you for enjoying our show. Thank you for being here today, and we'll see you next week.
The National Federation of the Blind, Newsline, Indiana. For more information, go to nfb-in.org or call 855-963-6476. That's 855-963-6476. The National Federation of the Blind encourages you to live the life you want.